Hello, everybody. Jan for all I know, Jan is coming. Um, she may
Is
have
it?
thought it was 9:30 because of that first webinar invite you sent. She just a thought.
Oh, did I send it at 9:30?
You did, and then you sent a corrected one for 9.
Well,
I'm pretty sure.
hmm,
For the
okay.
first one, the link wasn't working. Like it was asking me. So I got stuck on the first one because it was wanting a passcode and I couldn't find it. And then
Oh,
I saw,
This might be what is happening with Jan. Just as
because
a
there's a food waste prevention meeting next week at 9:30.
yeah, I
right.
don't think you had the time wrong. It was just there was like it wanted a passcode.
Oh,
Oh,
I
and
see.
then
Yeah, you're right. There's like two in a row, and the second one works, and the first one does not work.
huh, okay.
Know why?
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you guys want to get started and I'll text Jan?
Sure, I can just text her this link too. I mean, I'm right
Okay,
here.
yeah, go
If
for it.
I can make it work. Come on, work. No, that's not what I wanted. Um, yeah, anyway, we can get started while I mess around with this if you want. Um, like I
Hmm.
said, Jen and I met yesterday and thought, oh, we better have some kind of agenda for today, just so we're all on the same page. So, did everyone have a chance to look at that?
Yeah, I saw it briefly.
Okay. Any? I know I sent it kind of late in the afternoon. It was a little bit of a crazy day yesterday with lots of meetings um, for both things I'm on. Yeah, so Danielle, I know I texted you. Did I miss anyone on that list? I felt like I couldn't
I don't think
remember
so.
who was on this committee or not. Laura,
No,
you
I think this is the group plus Jan and Dennis.
okay. So, Laura, first
Um,
off, we
the
didn't make,
one The
oh,
one
sorry.
thing too is this committee still needs to elect a chair.
Right. So, Laura, is that something you're interested in,
Yeah,
or
sure,
do you want to do that? And
sure.
so, I didn't want to, we didn't want to step on anyone's toes by making agenda, but we were kind of
It's the
concerned.
same thing we've done every time, so it's totally. I mean, it's what we've been talking about. So thank you for doing that.
Oh, okay, good. So, let me see if I just heard from Jan. She said she is, but it's not working, and I sent her the second link.
Let me email it to her.
Yeah, see if that,
I'll just copy it from Zoom. Edit. Hmm.
okay. I just told her that you're emailing. Um, Hi Lily. Welcome
Hey.
back. Enjoying Not enjoying your day off school by getting up early on a Zoom with us. Um, but so I mean, can we move to vote Laura as the chair? I'm sure Jan has no issue with that. I mean, I don't think that she's gonna dissent and be freaking out if we like do that right now. All right. Ooh, I see you're at home. Danielle, are you at home?
No, I'm at the
Oh,
office.
oh, maybe I just thought I heard children running around.
Oh, that's
Oh.
my children. Yeah, they were at
Oh,
school today.
I was like, ooh,
One is
that
babysitting
sounds
the
so
other
cute.
one.
Oh, enjoy
How old are
that.
your kids, Laura?
Well,
Laura?
13 and 7. The 13-year-old is
Okay.
very responsible, but the 7-year-old likes to play rough, so they're probably you might hear more.
I will look forward to that. Anyway, so I guess do I have to make a motion for this? I mean, do we do that in the committee? Okay, I'll
I
make a
think so.
motion to elect Laura as the chair of the Education and Outreach Committee.
I second that.
Yay! Good job.
Okay.
So, Laura, and well, I guess all in favor? Aye. All right. Thank you, Laura, for doing this. So I will pass it on to you.
So we're gonna look at the slide deck. I just put in everybody's comments. There were some parts where it was getting a bit long, and so I thought we could keep that like flexible, like if it seemed right to include it or not. But that's really the only thing I think that was like a question I had. Other than that, I think I just put in the edits. So I'm wondering if we could pull that up. Maybe Danielle could pull it up, and then we can just go through it again.
Pull it up. Is the most recent? Oh, well, it's just the Google Doc,
Oh.
right?
Yeah, it's like all the edits just go into it. Yeah, and if I missed anything or misinterpreted, we can fix it now.
Sun just came out and I'm like not used to that being there.
Someone have the link. Can they
Move.
drop it in the chat?
Let me see if I can find it.
I have it. It's the draft neighborhood presentation, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. Here we go, and then share screen.
And we're trying to keep it to like a 10-minute, 10 to 20-minute with questions. So it's meant to be very brief and then expandable by, talking it through.
Are you guys seeing it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so on this one, there was just Jan wanted to make sure people knew we were appointed. So I put that into the.
Where are the comments? Oh, did you already integrate the comment?
I tried to. Let me see. I'm
Okay.
not seeing it though. Oh yeah, appointed by the city council. So I did.
Okay.
Do you think we should put that on the main slide, like an appointed volunteer, or I put it in the
No, I think that's fine.
Okay.
City council.
Related to, I think it would be, is there room or interest to putting something in there? And this kind of goes back to some conversations that Jan and Daniela and I have been having about something in the talking points about how is established via city ordinance or something like that, like that we're not just like a group on our own, like 350 or something like that, that we're actually.
Well, we
Yeah,
put that appointed by the city council.
Sure, but I mean, I guess that covers it. We're just a little raw with like wanting to be sure that everyone knows that there has to be a sustainability commission. Like,
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we could put right, like the Sustainability Commission was established
just like one line of history.
the code, we consist, or no, I guess that's fine how it's.
Does that resonate with anyone? There's some history of conversations that not the whole commission was involved with about this sort of like
Sure, that's fine.
reestablishing ourselves with council in a nutshell, that like, hey, we're advisory, we exist because there's an ordinance. Like, you can't just ignore us.
The other thing is it $2,000? I thought it was 1,000, but I'm not sure about that. So does anyone know for sure if it's 2,000 or 1,000?
I think it was 1,000.
Same with me.
Yeah, I don't know how that got in there.
Okay. Okay, cool. Next slide.
So this one didn't have any changes.
Okay.
I don't think.
Yeah, that looks good. Okay.
That one didn't have any changes either.
It might be nice on the somewhere on the slide for people to read that it just says CRO means this and BAU means that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, okay.
Just because it's as a standalone and I who your audience is, they might want to just read that right there. And
So should we put you like that?
you could do it in, I mean, I'm just saying maybe it's me because I'm a teacher that I want to have it on the slide. Like, so if people are looking at the slide and half listening to you, that they can read it for themselves and
Yes.
not have to miss it.
I can have my graphics person kind of edit this potentially,
Because
maybe.
it's a little is it blurry for everyone or just me?
It is blurry.
Okay.
And that might be because it was like copy and like it was screen
Yeah.
printed from the Cat 2.0. I could look if we have a cleaner version of this, like the original file. Let me wait, how do I do a comment? View.
I was having trouble with that sometimes too. Like once it was up, but getting it up was not as easy as for some reason. As
I
like,
think the comment, it's like a little comment. Oh, you found it. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Lily? Like it would be easier if
Yeah.
it had those on the slide? You're
Let me
like,
Yeah, if this were a class presentation, I think that I would definitely include that.
find that original.
Yeah, we could put like an arrow, business as usual, and then point to that orange dotted line and then.
I mean, I could even just like put a text
write
box
it out.
over this. Yeah,
Yeah.
Eugene's business as usual forecast, and then CRO, climate recovery ordinance goal or something like that. So
I think that
okay.
would be really helpful because then it's like right there and
Yeah. Okay. Rename buckets.
I love the buckets.
Carbon. Yeah, that looks good. I wonder if it would be good to have a intro, just a transition sentence right here at the beginning, like I'm going to talk about the first bucket, just to
Yeah.
like make that transition.
Yeah, that's good. And there were comments about the scooters, but now that they're leaving, I don't think we should
Yeah,
do anything about the
I
scooters.
agree.
Yeah, we'll just kind of let that fade away. um,
There's a little bit of fuzzy math with the scooters anyway.
oh, wasn't there a comment? Well, I wonder if we should get a local picture.
Right?
So it's funny, this looks like, well,
Looks
this
like
reminds
LA.
it looks like LA. I know that's what it reminds me of, like the 405 or something in LA. So we have access to like Getty stock images, and we also have a bunch of local pictures, but I'll just add in a comment to do a swapped out photo for a local.
When I was doing the images, I was limited to what was in the public domain, and it was very limited. So
Yeah, no, that's fine.
anything I found that was local was like copyrighted. So I
I
did.
have one in mind that I think is actually in the CAP 2.0. So
Okay.
I'll look that up.
Yeah, I mean it's great, Laura. We like know all those kind of weird limitations for sure. I think Jan's texting you.
Oh.
Yeah. She's worried
Okay.
about the asking for the passcode. I don't know why that's happening to her.
Doesn't say. Oh, there's the passcode. Okay. I know I don't have the same like processes in place for all these committees to make sure they go smooth.
No,
Working on
okay.
it. Okay.
It happens. I mean, you know.
Okay, you can
Do we wanna, is there anything we can put in? I don't know. I don't want it to go on too long, but a lot of people probably will ask about EV charging in the city. I just have a feeling
Yep, that's gonna
like
be a
that is
push.
a question that people ask me out in the world a lot.
So the status update on that, and actually we're gonna get an in-depth presentation on this next month. But the city is developing an EV charging, like is planning to expand publicly available charging infrastructure, and they're in the process of developing a plan for that right now. So is that enough level of detail for this? I mean, I feel like we don't need to get into too much of the weeds other than like we're working on it.
I guess that was just kind of to just not discourage people from asking questions about it, but just to touch on it because that
Yep.
seems to be a pretty hot item. And if we just say somewhere briefly that
Mm.
in the plan, but then maybe after our presentation next month, we'll have more information to be able to write something in. I don't know what you think.
Okay.
Or we could put a, a map right below the car if we want to split that image and just put a map of the existing and proposed charging.
Oh, I don't know if we want it's like fully figured out yet. I mean, the full story is like we were hoping to get a huge grant and we didn't get it. We just found out like a couple weeks ago. So it sort of sets us back in that we can't necessarily promise that the map we have right now is where chargers are gonna go. If that makes sense. I'd rather just have something vague. What about something along the lines of yeah, we're hiring consultants to, this is what I'm finding, hiring consultants to develop an EV charging deployment roadmap for Eugene.
And there already are chargers in Eugene, so we don't want it to sound like there's nothing right
Right.
now.
Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. Is there any plan, Danielle, for like new construction to provide? Did I ask you this? To provide like, you know, how the parking has been limited, but is there any like new construction must, you know, of apartments or whatever need to provide X amount of
Yeah.
charging stations?
There is, where was I just reading this? Oh, I'm working on the CAP 2.0 like update, and there is, let me see if I can find that. Where is that? What Logan wrote.
That might be a helpful nugget.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's a chance to like toot our horn a little bit. That we're, even if it's still gonna make people mad.
Your EV horn.
So, I mean, this might take me a while to dig out. I'll put a note and, oops. And look for that later. So, insert comment.
She said she's on the call but can't seem to let you see or hear me.
Oh
Well, let me stop sharing and see if there's like a participants. Oh yeah, there she is.
Oh, because you haven't let her in.
She must have, oh, she must have joined as a attendee. There she is. Hi, Jan.
Hi there.
Welcome.
Ah,
Oh,
okay.
Good times.
we're just working through the presentation.
Okay. Is it just the three of us?
4.
Well,
But-
4.
And Lily.
Oh, okay. I can't see.
Okay.
So that seems good, Danielle. I think as long as we don't, we're not like,
I wonder if we should also add something here, like the prices are coming, like, I mean, do you want to get into the detail that like, check out eWeb, they have some incentives and like more are coming, rebates, or is that sort of a level of detail that is too complicated for this?
I think that's good because we are trying to send people to more resources. Like this is meant to kind of inspire them and get them thinking and knowing what's going
Right.
on. So eWeb is the place to go.
So too.
eWeb.
whoops.
Well, wait, actually, and I think I'll do some researching. I think there's an incentive through eWeb and then there's a federal tax rebate. So, but I'm not 100% sure on that, so I'll look it up.
And then, I mean, we could get rid of there was an electric scooter program that is ending because it's ended. I mean,
I bother.
if that needs to even be in the text down there.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like this last part is kind of like goes on and on. I wonder if we can consolidate this into like one sentence. Like the benefits of the benefits of EVs are they cut down on transportation emissions. Or emissions.
I like the reference to Oregon having the cleaner electricity, though.
Yeah, because a lot of people have read like national media saying, EVs aren't even that clean because all our electricity comes from burning coal. And
Right.
so it's, when you get in the Pacific, if you look at the national, like how much
Right.
cleaner they are, like it's so much cleaner in this part of the country. And that's not necessarily true right now in the whole country. So I think that is important because people read stuff from all over.
What if we just leave
This chunk
off
is weird.
the last sentence, like a bonus is health benefits, and like if we just leave off those last 2 sentences, like then it just sort of reads a little smooth.
This last chunk is what's making me like it's too technical.
It could be on the slide.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, something like that could be just on the slide, like data. If there's a spot. I don't know.
Could it be a little bullet coming like off the image so it's sort of separate, just like a little tidbit?
Yeah.
Like a little bubble, thought bubble kind of thing.
Okay.
In
I
Oregon.
think it's like it's an awkward way of saying it because what we're trying to say is like when you charge your electric vehicle with our clean electricity, it doesn't emit as much carbon as a gas-powered car, right?
Yeah.
So could we just say it more like that without like, I think the 8% and the carbon dioxide starts like, we're gonna lose people who aren't necessarily like steeped in this.
Maybe we should think on that a little more and
Yeah.
try and, it sounds like we want to keep the concept that it's much cleaner to drive an EV in, especially in Oregon, but we
Yeah.
don't necessarily are tied to the 8%. So maybe
Yeah.
we could think on that and, you know, share a
Yeah.
couple.
Um, or, you know, it just, maybe it's just said and we don't need to say 8%. Right? We just said in Oregon specifically has the cleaner. You could say Oregon specifically has the cleaner electricity than most of the US states. Thus something blah blah owning an EV here. I don't know.
What's
But
charging it specifically?
let's come back to this one
Yeah,
because
let's
it's,
come back to it.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think it's hard to wordsmith this like
yeah,
Yep.
in a group it doesn't work.
Yep.
Okay. Keyboard. Going on. Okay, moving on. Okay. Oh, and then I wanted to see what these, what can you do? Try active transfer, walk, roll, or take transit. Okay. Wow, is this true? All new cars in Oregon must be emission free?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
Maybe there could be a line down there about, I was thinking about the emission free and how scary that sounds to a lot of people. I was just wondering if, let's see, consider, wow, next time you purchase a new vehicle, consider an all electric one, and maybe like the market for used EVs is rapidly expanding or something like that. Which is true. If people are cycling through their EVs now and selling them. I don't know if that would just calm people.
Also, does this mean like all new cars in Oregon after 2035 must be electric or hybrid? Like,
They're
could we
calling
just
them emission free. Maybe we could expand it because it's not just Oregon. We could put a little like, you know, states like Oregon. I think it's Oregon, California, Washington, but I'd have to check the reference. You know, are requiring emission free vehicles, new vehicles after. So we could make it sound like, you know, it's a broader shift. It's not just Oregon. But I'll look that up.
okay. Okay, cool. Buildings are the next biggest source of emission. I'm just gonna keep the bucket language.
Yeah.
Bucket of
And I was thinking, since this is primarily targeting residential, I was thinking it might complicate it too much to start comparing residential and commercial. So I was voting for just staying simple and not going to commercial on this one.
The only reason I put it in there is because I know a lot of homeowners I know I'm like a broken record or something, but like in the home, if we're going to present to neighborhood associations, they want to know about the whole city. They want to know, like, wait a minute, I'm doing this, but what is U of O doing? Or what is, you know, all this new construction over by the, you know, they're just always like wanting to know more and, well, honestly, blame like all the commercial emissions. And they just want to know more about it. I think they get a little weary of always hearing about how residents are the ones that have to do all the things. And we're trying to also, I mean, it's CAP 2.0 goals. So like they want to know what they can do, but they're also getting kind of tired of being told what they're supposed to do. And how is the city as a whole working on the issue? I think seems to be a very,
Well, I mean, that's very front and center right now. Like we're about to have 6 focus groups with a bunch of different commercial sectors to better understand like what their challenges and opportunities are with reducing emissions from commercial buildings. So that might be good to share that like the city's has a big focus right now to accelerate decarbonization of commercial buildings as well. Would that be enough, or?
Could that fit in when we mentioned the upgrading city facilities and then also the cities and then say what you said?
Mhm.
We just stick it in right there, but not write it up there, but just it'll be part of the talking.
Yeah. So,
I had a question. Didn't the city council vote to ban natural gas infrastructure in low-rise residential buildings?
yeah, so they did last January and that got rescinded in July. And when they rescinded it, they passed a motion directing staff to do engagement with a bunch of different business sectors and marginalized communities to understand and identify like what would be pathways that have broader consensus. If that's
And
like
Lily,
has so much opposition.
Lily, the reason it was rescinded is because a similar ordinance in Berkeley was legally challenged and was being held up by that. And the city was concerned that the ordinance here would also get hung up. And as Danielle was just saying, there was a lot of kind of misunderstanding and contention about it. So the city decided to back off and try a different route.
Okay.
And there was
You know,
the Ninth Circuit decision. The Ninth Circuit covers California and Oregon and other states. They ruled in favor of the restaurant industry in Berkeley. So there was precedent that Eugene would have lost too. So that was.
Right, exactly.
it makes me think like, I wonder if that should be addressed here. Otherwise, you're gonna get questions. So just like a status update that like there was an ordinance, it's no longer in effect.
Yeah.
Staff is doing engagement.
Yeah.
So how about we add a little, add a sentence and then bring in the Ninth Circuit, because that really affects, if people are wondering what's going on in this part of the country. That was a big.
I think we need to figure out a simple way to say that and summarize it, and that might take a little work. But I do think we should be ready with some talking points on that because it's going to come up.
Is it worth just an additional slide?
I think it probably is.
Because the text there is getting really long.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if there's a quick way to have a slide that maybe then it could address it could do two things. It could talk about that and maybe have a little spot about commercial or something too. Like it could be
Well, it could be, I mean, it's gonna be like if this slide is gonna be pertinent for the next 6 months. And after that, we might need to revise it. So I like the idea of it being a slide that's separate from this one, you know, and then it's only that one slide that kind of needs to be updated. So I can work on that slide.
And what if, Danielle, what if you add like the different pathways? Like, you know, Washington State did it differently and theirs is not being challenged. So it could be of like, you know, statewide transition off of fossil fuel infrastructure.
Yeah,
and you
I
could
mean, it just depends. I don't know how, like, it's really technical. I mean, and we could go into like, yeah, there's a bunch of different pathways to restrict fossil fuels. What we've noticed in having those, when we start to get into the weeds about it, is it makes people really nervous because they think like, oh, so council just rescinded it. They're going to find another way to pass it again.
That makes sense.
And
Well,
I don't want you guys to be in the crosshairs of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna become tense. It's a really polarizing topic. So I think if we could just kind of keep it high level, you know, here are the motions out from council, here's what can be expected in June, like it might allow you to just gloss over it.
I think it's important to say it, and it's important when we do say to try to keep it as positive, to not to say are other ways to restrict fossil fuels, but there are other ways to achieve our decarbonization goals.
Mhm.
We're in the process of, talking with constituents to help determine what those will be, so that they know the city hasn't given up on it. We're going to do something, but I think trying to stay away from the whole restrictions, bans, limitations language is important.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great slide because I think a lot of people are thinking about it, and I know, I mean, that we want to communicate, but we also don't want to put people off. I think that
I
was
know.
what happened. That was a
Well,
huge issue, right?
and I think that's where, like, I think if you guys start getting into the weeds of like, these are the different ways that states or cities are looking to like reduce fossil fuels, it's like that could kind of be at cross purposes with the conversation staff is trying to have. But if you provide a lot of clarity on like the current motions out from council and like transparency about that process, I think that could help reestablish some trust and stuff. So
I also think it's important to remember, I mean, we don't want to say things that come back at us in a legal way either down the road. We don't want to be throwing something out there and then have, like before when we were totally silenced and couldn't talk about it at all. We just want to be sure that we're keeping it reasonable in this kind of environment.
yeah. Well, I'll work on a slide and we can take a look at it.
Thank you. That would be great.
And so if I add that slide, I think I'm gonna take out this part, because I'll include in that slide, like our engagement. Wait,
It doesn't matter as long as you read it. But yeah, I think that that's super good. It's like, what is the city doing?
and on this topic of engagement, we're gonna have a survey out soon, and it would be great if you guys could plug that survey. It's about this topic. It's part of the engagement on like decarbonization in buildings and all that. So including like, policy approaches that the city might be looking at. So that's a good opportunity to plug the survey.
How long will the survey be available?
Like a few months.
Okay, hopefully we'll get
That's true.
we'll put this out there.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like this is gonna change pretty rapidly over the course, so we'll see. Okay. Any other changes here?
I think you're going to make all the big changes and then we'll see.
Sounds good.
So this one, I added the Love Food Not Waste program, I think. Yeah, there it is. And then I think that was the only change I made.
Do we want to make a line about the IMERF? Want to, or
yeah.
because that's county, do we?
Especially since we're showing a picture of Short Mountain, we should probably talk about that.
Yeah.
Just like one liner, like the county, approved whatever IMERF stands for, and I can't remember right now. Program at Short Mountain Landfill, which could reduce or methane emissions, blah blah.
Increase recycling and reduce emissions. Yeah.
Did they don't have the funding to do it yet, so should we kind of make it sound like this is not happening soon, but it's in the plans? Unless they did get the funding?
It was approved by
They did get the funding?
they're gonna have to find the funding, I think, one way or another.
There's
So
a percentage, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean,
Building a new.
Is there a timeline we could share? Because from that presentation that that person gave, my feeling sense was it was like a decade out, but am I totally off?
I'm not sure.
I'm looking, so I'm seeing what I can find real quick.
I mean, the other thing here is like, this isn't the IMER, people are still gonna be at, like, they're not gonna have this source separation stop, like, people are still gonna be, continuing to separate recycling and waste as much as possible. But the facility, we will be able to, do a better job of like cleaning out contamination. So it's not necessarily gonna change like people, it's not meant to change people's behavior on the home end. So there's not necessarily an action for people to take because the IMRF is being built, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
But I
essentially,
think,
Maybe again, because,
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead, Devin.
but I do think I think it's good to include, because I think it's like, this is not, it's an opportunity for the commission to be a messenger about like what is happening at the politics level related to sustainability. So,
It says that Lane County would issue a capital improvement bond in spring of 2024 to cover the upfront costs. And the bond will be paid back over time through revenue from landfill tipping fees. I mean, this is not for the slide, this is for us, but and this is the Lane County. Hold on, I'm gonna look at the PDF summary. It would process residential garbage, commingled recycling, organic waste to produce markable recycling commodities and biogas for transportation. The facility would divert over 80,000 tons of material. I don't know.
wait, read what part about, what's the part about they're making gas off of it again?
Yeah, they're gonna make biogas, right? Diesel. I think. Are they making, no, they're making natural gas. I'm sorry. Don't quote me on the diesel thing. I was thinking of R99, that's something different. This is what we had in that one meeting where I was like, oh, but they are gonna make a biogas.
I don't think we should get into too much detail
No,
there.
I
Jeff,
think,
You know,
So-
about renewable natural gas or any of that, just to say it's gonna increase
Yeah.
recovery, reduce, yeah, I don't think
Okay.
we, all that.
Yep.
I completely agree. I'm just giving you some talking
Yeah.
points from here, but I don't see anything that says how long it takes to, hold on.
I guess it depends on if they get the bond passed
Says
when they,
it's a 2-year construction project.
So that could
Yeah,
be.
I wouldn't put a timeline in there.
No,
I
I
mean,
don't think they're not saying it for a reason.
yeah, and even I wouldn't even like say the bond, like that could be, people could get angry about another bond.
Hmm.
I don't want to see my property taxes go up, but like I also support that, but I don't want to get into that.
It's a bond
just
that
put,
comes from a
Could we just
tipping-
put future in there? So it just, because I don't want people to think, oh, this is happening, yay. It's like, yay, this in the future. They approved to build a future. That would make me feel like this is
Yep.
most truthful.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
There is a little talking point that we can think about. It says that it's the equivalent we could say when it is up and running in the future, it will be equivalent reduction of taking 20,000 cars off the road, for example. I don't know if people like that or not. That was just a way of saying when the
quantifying.
project, we could just say when the project is completed in the future. And then someone will maybe raise their hand and go, how is this going to be paid for? And we say they want to levy a bond that has to do with the dumping fees that comes from the landfill. It's like taking it's increasing the fees at the landfill. So then that does trickle down to increasing your your
I
hauler fee at your curb.
would
But
leave it at the sentence that you got there now and not go any further with that.
Yep.
I think
Yeah, I
we're,
mean, I think, and I don't know, even when someone asks that about fees, like, I think the commissioners who are giving the presentation just need to be as like vague and as possible, because their county's also looking for grants, you know, and so
right.
Yeah,
like, just, you know, that's still being figured out. There are a few different options on the table, like, go
Yeah.
follow the county's website.
it's, yeah, and it's not even our thing, so I think we should be, besides the fact that this is, the whole presentation's getting pretty long, and we're probably gonna have, what,
Yep.
maybe 10 minutes to give it most times, so.
So can I just cut this out? Or is this?
Wait, that was more, that's just for if commissioners want more info. That's not like meant to be read. It says more info. Maybe we should make, yeah, that's good.
Make it a color or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the slide I added from the meeting we had with the waste prevention, the City of
Yeah.
Eugene prevention folks. That's the one they gave us to share. And I think that that's a pretty, I don't know, good one to have up there, and they made it. So what do you guys
This
think?
sentence
great.
feels really awkward. Can I just say, like,
That's their language. I didn't change it at all. It came
I
with the
know,
slide.
I just
Do what
think
you need
I'm
to do.
I'm gonna change it.
Let's just take it out because I compost all that stuff at home, except for meat. But I don't think that's, you can compost anything. It's just how you do it. So I don't want people to think, some people are not going to, and that's fine. Some people are going to. That's fine. Yeah, that looks great.
Keep it simple. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah, and so this one, I mean, maybe we don't even want to go there, but Danielle, Eugene has touted itself as unique because it includes the externalized GHG things associated with the community, but there was never any plan to address it. So I don't know. But if it is in like the climate recovery ordinance, I believe, in the cap about our externalized emissions. And so because of that, I think we should keep it unless the city's going to drop that. But this is also something people can really do something about because it's personal choice. So there's no way the city to address any of these things. So I don't know. That's just kind of the way it is right now.
I wonder if there's a way to make it less about, like, just kind of say what you said. Like, there are a few other ways that you can help reduce emissions by consuming less. Or like, I feel like when we bring in the GHG inventory and like it being consumption emissions and those are tracked a little differently, it starts to lose people.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking. And I also think we need to really, I know that this is annoying, but I think to get people on our side, and yes, people need to make choices, but we need to be sure that we're not telling people that they can't eat meat, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I think people are really, right now in our country, people are super sensitive to being told what they can and can't do. And a lot of people I know will just turn off if you say, yeah, here's more things that you're supposed to be doing. I know I say this a lot, and I'm not saying this is my personal opinion. I'm saying this is what I experience out in the world when I'm talking to people who aren't me and aren't us.
Yeah.
If the goal is to get more people on board for reducing emissions, this particular slide makes people very uncomfortable. You know, if we're not preaching to the converted, you know what I'm saying? Like if we're going to go and try to spread a positive word, I think we get really bogged down by messages about what we're supposed to be doing rather than what producers should be doing, right? Like as far as what choices can you make? It's like, well, I need to have choices that are, you know, that help. Like, what if I need to do air travel for my job, for example? What are my other choices? I don't have any because Eugene doesn't have a lot of jobs that are high paying or whatever it is. I'm just saying it leads people down a road where they say, I can't, they find reasons why they can't do these things rather than reasons why they can. And then they feel like they're being attacked. And I don't know, we want to like make friends and influence people, I guess is what I'm saying.
I mean-
And though there's good things about this, I'm not sure this is appropriate for the audience that we're speaking to. I'm just, as far as making friends and influencing people, I think people could be like, yes, it's informative, but like, oh man, it's all on me now. Why is it always all on me? And I just want to keep it up. I don't know. I'm totally, this is not like gospel or anything. It's just what I experience when I talk to people who don't agree with me.
Yeah.
Those are the people I want to compost, and those are the people I want to agree with me. So how can we best get people?
Well, and it sort of, I mean, this is like the other slides all had a component of like, this is how the city's working on this. This is the one that kind of doesn't. This is sort of like the laundry list of other things you can make in your lifestyle change that could help reduce emissions. So I kind of agree with you, Devin. It starts to feel a little more preachy rather than like informative.
One option would be, I hear both sides of this, honestly. In fact, I have some information I want to share with you guys that I got recently about a big study about messaging on climate, and I should have gotten it out to you before the meeting. I just think it's really interesting. It's pretty quick to read through stuff, but it talks a lot about, and it was a big national study, or international really, about what are the messages that are most effective. And it's really about hitting people, you know, about what being positive, not being doom and gloom, and also what they can, but it's also about what you know, what are your motivating factors? It's for, you know, caring for the next generation. So I wonder about maybe keeping this at the end, that people, if the discussion gets into that, people are asking questions about, you know, what are the impacts of things that I can do, that you could bring it in, but it's sort of an optional slide, kind of gauging your audience.
Yeah, I like that. I don't think we should assume the people who are coming to this are necessarily like don't want to hear anything. Like some of them, like before you were saying they want information. So it's
Right.
that like balance of providing information, and how you present this could really go either way. I mean, I was not imagining this as like a preachy one, but just like, look, this is what the city found when they looked into where these
That's true.
come from. So it could
That's
be
true.
like informational, which a lot of people do want. The people that don't want to hear this, nothing we say is going to change their mind. Like it's just not possible in a 10-minute presentation. So I think we can just say like, yes, there's people that are not going to have their mind changed, and they probably won't even be in the room anyway, hearing it's coming from the Sustainability Commission. So we could just, I mean, I agree this is like a chart and there's all this stuff on it. It's the end of our short presentations. Maybe we should just put it at the end and read the room. And if somebody's like asking, we could say, oh yeah, the city actually looked into this question and here is what we found. This is a couple years old, but it's probably similarly accurate.
I'm sorry to cut in, but as I mentioned in an earlier email, I have another meeting at 10. I'd have to leave now.
Okay.
It's okay, Lily. Thanks for letting
Bye,
us know.
Lily.
Good
Will
to
there
see
be
you.
a recording that I can watch?
And
Okay.
we're supposed to end at 10, so we should, we'll be wrapping
Yeah, we
up.
should wrap it up.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Well, I'll just let's think more about this slide. I think it could potentially be good, but it kind of needs to be reframed, and I'm not quite sure how yet.
Yeah.
Potentially good.
And I think, I mean, I agree with you on some points, but I do also know that people do come to these meetings and learn something. And yes, that's totally true, and they want information. But I honestly have seen people change their minds about stuff because they just didn't know about it. And to that point, this slide would be meaningful because
Yes.
these people don't know, and then they're like, oh, but I do really think you can get to neighborhood association people in a 10-minute talk and they will incorporate that. I just know that people are burnt out on being told what they're supposed to do, you know. And when you look at a slide like this, it's like, oh, wait, what is it? What left can I eat? I mean, I just know people that say that. Like, it's not me. I like to be the devil's advocate in this situation because I am a steward of an entire neighborhood with people with all different viewpoints, and they come to the meeting even though they have all different viewpoints. And they'll come and see the Sustainability Commission. They will, because it's just the demographic. They want to know stuff. So anyway, I think there's somewhere for it. I just want to be sure we're careful about the messaging being positive, to Jan's point.
Okay, keep it positive. Okay, I'm just gonna put this for now and
Yep,
I'm
yep.
gonna try later. Questions? Okay.
I like the questions.
I do too.
Um, I'll take a look at these. I have some thoughts, but I know we're running out of time, so I'll just include them as comments. And is the plan with this, we'll take it that this will be brought to the next commission meeting for a vote?
Yeah, that's a plan because we have changed it since the last time they saw it.
Okay.
So we should
So-
try to finish it and get it done before the next meeting.
Yeah. Well, I'll try to get this stuff back to you guys before the meeting. Well,
Okay.
before the meeting.
Could
so.
I mean, some of it is like some stuff we're gonna have to look at again. Is it okay if we put in the changes that we talked about? Like I have a note to myself to like check the references about the emission-free
do that.
vehicles, so we can kind of give the thumbs up without meeting again before the next meeting. Does that feel?
I think that's fine. I'm just gonna say that's fine because I don't have time to meet again.
Yeah.
No, I think that's completely appropriate.
Yeah. Okay, so
So we got through one thing on the agenda. was a
Yeah,
little
we
nervous.
needed to do that though. That was
We
necessary.
did. Oh no, absolutely. So all I guess I'm gonna just say in closing is take a look at the pages that I provided in the agenda. It has like the I made all the notes and I made the table. So the meeting day, date, and time is the best I could get for each one off of going through the entire calendar. So
Do you have,
Appreciate
my
talking about.
table.
Devin,
What?
do you have any information, or did you get any from Cindy about the size of those groups or anything about why we would choose one over another?
She has not responded, and I even saw her. Can be unreliable at times. I'm going to email her again, or I may even just give her a call.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's why I went through and just tried to put in when they meet and how often they're meeting and like who's actually even on the calendar and things that have a question mark by them. I think we just don't even, or an NA, they're not meeting, for example. It's near, if you look at the right-hand column, it kind of narrows it down. And then we can decide.
Okay,
I don't, I think we should just decide maybe on 5. And what I could do then is reach out to Cindy and say, hey, we want to reach out to these. I'm just saying 5. I'm making that up. And see what she has to say. Maybe she'll come back and say, oh, there's only their board has failed right now. There's only like 2 people on their board and they have no.
Devin, didn't we already agree as a group that we were going to target ones that someone in the commission was connected to? That was like our first step. So this is like great to have all this down, but we don't necessarily need it in the near future because we were gonna
I
target.
didn't understand that to be a,
Oh, okay, that was my understanding that we couldn't talk about it the last commission meeting because we didn't have quorum, but we were just gonna solicit who had connections and that would be like our start.
I guess I didn't understand that that would be our start. I was under the impression that targeting the neighborhood associations directly would be our start. That not the case?
Well, that's my memory, but I don't have notes in front of me, so.
So Laura, we did talk about asking commissioners what groups they may have connections to, because that would help. But I guess I thought both of those things. I thought neighborhoods is a pretty good place to start.
Yeah, we were gonna see who is connected to their own neighborhood group.
Right. So, so we can still ask that, and that when people want to, help determine which of the
Let's
neighborhoods
start with.
they can say, and I think we should include this one because it's my group and I'm associated.
So that'll give us like the priority list because we don't have capacity to do all of them.
Right.
Well, I mean, it also, another way to think about it is like, instead of going based on which neighborhood associations have upcoming meetings or who already has connections, is like, let's think broader, like, what are the neighborhoods we want to get? Like, what are the
Right.
neighborhoods we want to focus this information to? Like, I'm guessing the South Eugene, like, there's probably already a lot of people making these changes. Like, what about neighborhoods that are less, I don't
Well,
know.
that was my question of wondering whether we'd heard anything from Cindy that would help guide that. I don't know that about other neighborhoods, which ones are, more inclined to have an active sustainability committee or have some demonstrated some interest in sustainability issues. I just don't have any way of knowing that.
My impression is that there aren't a lot of that type of committee. When I started the environmental stewardship committee, people came to me and wanted to know what I was doing and how I was doing it. It seems like there's a lot of human rights committees on a lot of the neighborhood associations, for example, but not a lot of like environmental based committees. And I mean, that's my impression from
But-
talking.
Well,
That's okay. I mean, in
Right,
a way,
absolutely.
those are the ones we want to target, right?
Like maybe even ones that don't have that are the ones.
Yeah,
you want to
exactly.
environmental is a good link. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there's an environmental justice, but I don't know. I guess I was just thinking about in terms of we just need to buckle down and reach out and
Yeah.
look at maybe what we're doing is looking at hitting. I mean, yeah, Southeast is low hanging fruit. So it's like hitting the most regional, like how can we try to get as many, if we pick 5, not ones that are right next to each other, but maybe we're doing like River Road and you're doing, somewhere north, on the
Yeah,
other side of the grid.
Coburg,
What if
Bethel,
what if we at the meeting like talk to because this will be representing the whole commission, so we shouldn't necessarily decide, and we also are over time. So what if at the meeting we have a maybe 5 or 10 minutes to chat about that and like get everybody's feedback of what are priority areas, and that could help guide this group since we're representing a larger.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And I did want to, before we go, I want to make sure I mention this is, speaking of commissioner connections, this is mine, which is, if we wanted to present to neighborhood leaders, the NLC, they are meeting Thursday, April 23rd and May 28th. And one of my board members will be the co-chair of the NLC at that time, and he can get us on there.
Oh,
So
that
that's
was a good one.
right.
That might be a good place to start.
On either of those dates, I know it's an evening meeting. I don't know, I forget what time, it might be 7, but I can firm that up, but it's April 23rd or May 28th. So something, yeah, Dennis is going to be chairing. So, because they're rotating chairs right now through the NLC.
Was that the one where we would just tell them this existed for their groups, or are you saying to actually give the presentation to that group?
I would say we should just go ahead and give the presentation because that's going to cover both of those topics. And then if, then they're familiar with the Sustainability Commission, they can go back to their neighborhood associations and do what they want with the information. They usually give reports at every meeting, like an NLC report to the neighborhood association, for example. So that's
I agree. I think we should shoot for April 23rd. I think we should shoot for the earlier one, get things rolling. That's actually the way.
I like that idea.
And that's a better
part
date
of
for
the
me if I were
message-
to be involved.
Part of the message could be like, here's our presentation, but in which we are happy to give at at whichever neighborhood associations want it. We also want to come table at your picnics. Like, if you'd like to have us, let us know. Like, I think that's what I'm thinking is kind of missing in this presentation, is like how to interact. How can the public interact with the commission? And that could be a good opportunity to do that. So okay.
Yep.
I need to go. I think this
Yeah.
was a
Yeah,
good
I do
meeting. Let's just keep working through via email. I'll let you guys know when I have the chance to kind of make my edits. And I'm also gonna send this through graphics to get like better pictures and right fonts and color and everything. So
That's great. Make it tied together a little bit better. We also need to work on the lists of things that we need for presentations and for tabling. So maybe we could just start that by email, by building those by email. I don't know, you want to start a list and say, ask people to add things so we can start building those kits, knowing what we need. We need a sign, we need a banner, we need handouts, whatever it is, right?
Can we do that as a Google Doc? Because we have the policy that it's okay as long as one person's writing on it at a time, that's fine to do. But I don't think we're supposed to be doing this over email, but it can be on like a static Google Doc so we can see it and add and comment. That's
Sure.
my understanding.
I'm fine with that.
As long-
Yeah, and I
long as that
think
can be
that the
made-
next meeting should be the focus is going over
Yeah.
that list.
Okay.
So will you, Laura, you're gonna do the Google Doc, set that up?
I'll
and-
start that. Yeah, just to, yeah.
Thank you, Laura.
Okay, well, I think this is moving in the right direction, you guys.
Yep.
Okay, have a good day, everybody.
Thank you,
Okay.
Laura. Sorry if I'm like
Thanks, everybody.
grouchy.
Oh, bye.
Bye.